I was merging away from the carpool lane, I heard a loud noise, and I heard my son say, "Ow," and he had been shot. And he said, "Mommy, my tummy hurts." So she went and she picked him up, and he was bleeding on her. She had blood on her clothes, and then he started turning blue. And that's when the ambulance took him.
Aiden Leos was only 6 years old when he was brutally murdered in a horrific road rage incident. His mom had flipped off another driver when she cut her off, but the reaction she got was something she could have never imagined.
He was beautiful, and he was kind, and he was precious, and you killed him for no reason. And I want to find them. And I want there to be justice to be served for my son.
So, who took Aiden's life? Why did it take 2 weeks to find the culprits? And what reason did they give for doing what they did? Let's explore these and more questions in this tragic case of Aiden Leos. On the morning of May 21st, 2021, 6-year-old Aiden Leos was riding in a booster seat in the back of his mom's car, heading north on the 55 freeway in Orange County. His mom, Joanna Clunan, was going to drop him off at his kindergarten class at Calvary Chapel Academy in Yorba Linda. The two were in the carpool lane, and Joanna was just about to switch lanes to exit when suddenly a car cut her off. Joanna was mad at the other driver, who seemed not to care about what she'd done. So Joanna flipped her off and continued trying to get off the freeway. She could not have imagined the horrific thing that would happen next.
As I was merging away from the carpool lane, I heard a loud noise, and I heard my son say, "Ow," and he had been shot.
Joanna quickly turned to check on her and was horrified to see him holding his stomach and bleeding. She immediately pulled over, took Aiden out of the car, and tried to stop the bleeding with her hands while still trying to call for an ambulance.
Lots of fires, northbound 55 from Chapman. We're getting a report that there is a child that has been shot in the back.
I tried to save him while calling 911, but he was losing a lot of blood. And he said, "Mommy, my tummy hurts." So she went and she picked him up, and he was bleeding on her. She had blood on her clothes, and then he started turning blue. And that's when the ambulance took him.
Aiden was rushed to the hospital, but sadly did not make it. Joanna's entire world came crashing down around her. She was beyond devastated and could barely move or speak for a while. She felt like she was having a bad dream that she could not wake up from.
He was beautiful, and he was kind, and he was precious, and you killed him for no reason. And I want to find them. And I want there to be justice to be served for my son.
California Highway Patrol officers found a bullet hole at the back of Joanna's car and believed that it had gone through and struck Aiden. The officers said the incident was an act of road rage and urged anyone with information to come forward. They identified the vehicle of interest as a 2018 or 2019 white Volkswagen Golf sports wagon.
Clunan told police she was cut off by a white Volkswagen with a female driver and a male in the passenger seat. Investigators combed the freeway for clues and are now asking the public for help.
If you were driving by, you saw something that was not right, call it in.
I want them to pay for what they've done.
As the news of Aiden's tragic death spread, everyone was shocked and outraged by the incident. They struggled to understand how such a horrible thing could happen. What would make someone think it's okay to fire at a random car just because of a silly disagreement? Why would someone do something this stupid and dangerous? Aiden Leos was born in Southern California to his parents Joanna Clunan and Jose Leos. He grew up in a loving and supportive home with his mom and older sister Alexis. Aiden was described as a sweet and lovely boy who loved laughing, telling jokes, and going to the park. He was also quite friendly and cared about everyone around him. One day at the playground, a boy with autism flung himself to the ground. While most of the boys around him ran away, Aiden stayed stayed. He knelt down to the boy who had said that he didn't want to talk and told him, "It's okay, you don't have to talk." He then extended his hand to help him up, and the two played together. Aiden was an extraordinary boy. Despite his young age, he was compassionate and didn't like seeing other people sad. He also loved spending time with his big sister and would often hang out in her room just so he could be close to her. He would often compliment her, telling her how beautiful she was, and would make up some silly dances just to make her laugh.
He would just come into my room and be like, "Sissy, you're so beautiful." And like, "Sissy, I love you." He was a rare toddler. Just loved having him in my life.
Aiden also loved his mom and would not go to bed before telling her goodnight and sweet dreams. That's the kind of boy he was, wise beyond his years. He had just turned 6, and his tragic death was a huge blow to his family and the entire community.
As a roadside memorial for Aiden grows, his family is speaking out, hoping his killers will be identified. They are also celebrating the memory of a child who brought joy to everyone around him.
The last time I saw him was when he came over to my house and we were watching a movie, eating ice cream cones, and it broke my heart to find out that he died.
A GoFundMe account was set up to help Aiden's family with funeral expenses, and within a short period, they had raised over $350,000. An emotional vigil was held on the overpass where Aiden was killed, with friends, relatives, and strangers filling the place with flowers, balloons, and stuffed animals. Joanna could not attend the ceremony, but she was represented by some close family members, including Aiden's sister, Alexis, who thanked everyone for their support.
Thank you on behalf of me and my mother for all the support. Aiden gets to have a funeral as beautiful as he is.
At the Calvary Chapel in Yorba Linda, where Aiden was a student, a memorial was held for him, where students and teachers hung Aiden's pictures, ribbons in his favorite colors, and a sign that read, "Aiden, we love you."
Families at Calvary Chapel Academy, Yorba Linda, are mourning for kindergartner Aiden Leos. A banner with the 6-year-old's smiling face hung in front of the school as parents tried to cope with the senseless and shocking death of a young boy in a road rage shooting Friday.
He or she does right, and their morals and conscience gets to them, and then turn themselves in.
Meanwhile, a reward of $50,000 was offered to anyone who could provide information that would lead to the arrest of the people responsible. The money quickly grew to $500,000, with donations from people all over the state.
Have you seen this car? It's the vehicle suspected of the deadly road rage that killed 6-year-old Aiden Leos. The reward for information leading to an arrest, now more than $300,000.
How are those people living with themselves right now? That's what's angering me. I just don't get it. They're not going to get away with this. One way or the other, they're going to get what is coming to them.
I just hope whoever sees the car, or maybe who knows who owns it, will, come forward and allow this family to have some peace and to, give justice to Aiden.
Aiden's devastated family also pleaded for information. His uncle, John Clunan, said an arrest would bring closure to his sister's bleeding heart.
I want my son to be remembered for the beautiful soul that he was. He just didn't deserve that. No one deserves that.
A banner with the words, "Who shot Aiden?" was hung on the overpass near where the incident happened, as Orange County DA asked the suspects to turn themselves in.
It's time to turn yourself in. It's time to understand that the longer this goes on, the less sympathetic I will be to understanding why you did what you did.
Thousands of tips flooded in, and investigators followed up on each and every one that matched the case. And after 2 weeks of investigation, 2 people were brought into custody.
24-year-old Marcus Anthony Aris and 23-year-old Win Lee were arrested in front of their home after law enforcement spent 2 weeks looking for them.
Both suspects, a male and female, are residents of Costa Mesa. We have recovered what we believe are the weapon and automobile used in the crime.
Marcus Anthony Ayres was an auto body technician with an unhealthy obsession for guns. His Instagram page is actually filled with pictures and videos of him using different types of guns to fire at targets. Marcus admitted that he was responsible for Aiden's death and gave some really twisted excuse as to why he did it. He said that he got angry at Joanna for giving him the finger, so he decided to fire at her car. Like, who does that? It's just insane what some people would be capable of over just the slightest provocation. And the fact that his reckless actions led to the death of a little boy that didn't seem to affect him at all. He and his girlfriend went on with their lives as if nothing had happened. They never thought so much about it until a week later when something almost similar happened again.
We were not following them for weeks on end, or from the beginning. It was pretty fluid, and when we were comfortable making the arrests and we felt we had enough, we went in and made the arrest at the appropriate time.
A driver in a blue Tesla had done something that apparently annoyed Marcus, so he pulled out his gun again and pointed it at the guy. This time though, he didn't get to fire because the man said that he'd call the cops and drove off. This guy was clearly unhinged and dangerous. It seems like he was always waiting for an excuse to use his gun to hurt someone. But his former boss, Tom Greggs, and his wife said that they didn't notice anything off with him when he was working at the Platinum Collision. We didn't see any violent tendency in him. We have a lot of employees, and I don't think anyone triggered HR and said, this guy has this and this. A week after Aiden was killed, Marcus was at work when a coworker came to him and told him that his car was in the news and the police were looking for him. Marcus claimed that he had no idea what the guy was talking about, but then searched the internet and found the story about Aiden's death. He told investigators that he immediately knew he was responsible, so he started thinking of ways to avoid being arrested. The first thing he did was call his girlfriend, Wynn, who agreed that they should hide the car and use his truck to go to work. Marcus then shaved his beard and started wearing his hair back and a tie.
I was curious if you had any positions open anywhere. I'm willing to go to any shop available. I also have someone here that's an office manager that wants to leave. Please let me know, and thank you for your time, sir.
But despite their best efforts to evade arrest, the cops still caught up with them.
And I was unequivocally clear with them. Turn yourself in. Turn yourself in. And they didn't. And they didn't. And so now it's time for the system to do what it's designed to do, and that is hold people accountable.
When word got out about Marcus's arrest, his former bosses started getting threats and bad reviews from people who thought that they were somehow responsible for what Marcus did, which is really absurd.
I'm upset for that baby and them that family. And for us to be linked to that, it's just killing me.
Marcus was charged with homicide and a felony count of discharge of firearm of an occupied vehicle. During the bail hearing, the prosecutor said that Marcus was an extreme danger to the community and had shown that he could not control his temper and would go to the extremes when angry.
Wynn Lee's face could be seen at her arraignment in Orange County Superior Court.
First of all, Ms. Lee, can you hear us okay?
I can hear you okay.
The image of 24-year-old Mark Ayres never appeared.
Mr. Ayres, can you hear us okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
Both pleaded not guilty to charges related to the shooting death of 6-year-old Aiden Leos.
Marcus pleaded not guilty to the charges and was initially held on a $1 million bond. However, this was increased to $2 million after it was revealed that he had aimed his gun at another driver.
The court finds very alarming, very alarming. Because of that, it seems to me that Mr. Ayres is a complete danger to the community, to society.
His trial is set for January 2024, and if convicted, he faces 40 years to life in prison. As for his girlfriend, Wynn Lee, she was charged with being an accessory after the fact and a misdemeanor count of having concealed a firearm in a vehicle. She pleaded not guilty to the charges, with her lawyer saying that she was not to blame for what happened because she didn't pull the trigger.
We know she didn't change her identity. We know she did not use any violence. We know she did not use any weapon. We know that she is a U.S. citizen. We know she has no record.
However, the prosecutor argued that she was as much to blame as Marcus because she knew that he had a loaded firearm in her vehicle and never pulled over to check on Joanna and her son after the incident. She also failed to call the cops or do anything to follow up on what her boyfriend had done.
She did nothing when he cut his beard. She did nothing when he secreted the vehicle. It was her vehicle.
Her bail was initially set at $500,000, but she was later released on a $100,000 bail.
She's required to stay at her parents' house under electronic monitoring. She's also been ordered not to drive and must turn in her passport.
Initially, Wynn and Marcus were to be tried together, but the prosecution asked for separate trials for the two, and the request was granted. As of December 2023, Wynn's trial date has not yet been announced, but if she is found guilty of her charges, she faces up to 4 years behind bars. What do you think about this case? Do you agree that Wynn is as much to blame as Marcus for what happened to Aiden? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell button.